Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Glow Up Guide. So, today's episode is about dopamine menus, and I recently heard about this literally the middle of last week. And I thought it was the perfect topic because my episode last week was on screen time ruining your life, and a large part of screen time these days is social media. And this is kind of a thought chain, but it's relevant, so yeah. And social media is largely connected with dopamine. Like one of its main issues is with dopamine. So I wanted to, and I felt like it was the perfect, not necessarily part two, but companion episode. Like how I did with morning routines and waking up early, those two episodes. But once we cut out screen time, how can we fill that time so we can't find more time to think about screens and what we might be missing out on? And honestly, trust me, everyone else is missing out on all the things they could be doing instead of being on their phones. So we're going to talk about exactly what a dopamine menu is and then what's on my dopamine menu, which I'm literally building as I write this episode, and I'm probably going to change over time, and also how you can create your own dopamine menu. Okay, so podcast updates. I recently hit literally today. As of today, I'm at 576 plays, and I was just thinking about this, and I was like, I hit 200 plays back in March, and I started this podcast August of last year, and that's kind of crazy how it took that long to get to 200, but it didn't take that long to almost triple the amount of plays, and I think creating an Instagram account played a huge part in that. It's not very big though at all. I think I have 15 followers on it and less than 20 posts on it so far because of the large period it got suspended for. But also, it's just time. So, this really gives me hope for this podcast that it can become not just a tiny project, but actually something that's not really this small, but a little bigger. And that can happen because if you guys so definitely share this podcast, review it, do all the things. Email me if you want. To follow my Instagram if you have Instagram, definitely do that. But yeah, all of that can really help this podcast grow into something. Anyways, life updates. Not much happened this past week. Honestly, it's just been a whole bunch of nothing burger weeks since school started because it's just on the weekdays there's school, and then unless there was soccer on the weekends, not really anything taking up the weekends. And honestly, my life is just kind of empty now that I don't have soccer in it anymore because soccer took up a lot more time than I thought. So yeah, it's kind of just been how do I fill this time up and all that stuff. Um, but anyway, Halloween was last Thursday, and yeah, so that was that. And me and a group, my friend group, we all dressed up as a bunch of M&M candies, and I was the red M&M, and we wore bows in our hair, M&M shirts, tutu skirts, the whole shebang, and it was burning hot on Halloween. It was almost 80 degrees on Halloween, and it's the flippin' start of November right now, and it should be a lot colder than it is, but it's not. And honestly, I can't really complain because I love this weather. It's actually so nice outside, and it's making me want to go outside, which is strange. I've always wanted to spend more time outside, but I've recently not been doing that because the weather has been sucking. But now the weather's making me actually want to get outside and be outside more. So that's something. But Halloween was really fun. I got tons of candy, about 160 something pieces of candy. So lots of candy for me to eat, but obviously in moderation. Besides Halloween, I ate a bunch of candy on Halloween. I think 5 pieces of it, but that's a lot for me. I don't think that's a lot for a lot of people, but that's a lot for me. So yeah, and now I'm just trying to limit my sugar intake for the next few weeks because I have a birthday party on Saturday, and there's this other thing too. There's a Friendsgiving on Saturday, basically just a Thanksgiving, but you do it with a bunch of friends in a couple weeks before the actual Thanksgiving. Um, so yeah, that's that, and that might also be a lot of sugar intake for me. So I'm really trying to dial back on the sugar to minimize its effects on that. I do these things if I eat a lot of sugar on any one day or group of days, or after vacation, I just go on a sugar fast where I pretty much go cold turkey for however long I feel like I need to. And for some reason, I'm starting to lose my voice or it's just sounding weird. I don't know if it's super noticeable, but I apologize for that. And anyway, that was that. And then, so on Friday, I was just super bored and I decided to go on a walk. And so my local library isn't actually very far, and I've been meaning to figure out like the walking route to there. And if it's like super long, I don't know. It's just something I've been meaning to do. And I walk very fast, so I can actually walk to a lot of places that are within 2 miles of me because I can walk a mile in about 10 minutes, and that's actually really fast. But my mom, for example, she takes forever. She is a super slow walker, maybe like a third or a fourth of my pace. So yeah, and I still walk like twice her pace, even if I'm trying to walk slow and she's trying to walk fast. So yeah, but for me, there's like lots of places that I can walk to if I want to, or I can just like use my electric scooter or something. Like I've been meaning to do that, but I walked to the library and it would have taken me only 20 minutes or like 25 minutes because it was a new route. But guess what? On the way there, I got stuck at a stupid crosswalk for about 20 minutes. And then on the way back, I also got stuck at that same crosswalk for 20 minutes. And I was just like, how? Like, I swear to God, I was cursed. Because there were other people coming and going on literally every other crosswalk, but besides mine, and it took them just a few minutes. And I was like, why the flip is this happening to me? So it took me 40 minutes to get to the library and 40 minutes to get back home. But yeah, besides the crosswalk, it was fun. It worked. And it would have been just like 25 minutes if it weren't for that stupid crosswalk. So yeah, that's that. And this is like day something. Hold on. This is like day 5 of like our 7-day weekend because it's the end of the first grading period, and there was Diwali, and then there's like professional development days for all the teachers. So there's like a 7-day weekend. And honestly, it's been not super bad, but it also has been absolutely horrible. It depends on what time of day someone asking me. Like if you asked me today, for example, like right now, I would be like, nope, not a super bad day because I honestly got a lot done today. But if you ask me, but like yesterday, like the last few hours of the day, I was just so dang bored. Like I was on the verge of crying. It was not even funny. But yeah, honestly, like overall, it hasn't been super bad. So yeah, that's that. Okay, so getting on with the actually wait, no, first of all, can't believe I'm forgetting this, but before moving on, let's do one thing we're grateful for and one thing we're happy about, plus our book of the week. So one thing I'm grateful for is probably like that fact that FaceTime exists because I've FaceTimed so many people in the past 7 days. It's kind of hard to keep track of because I've just been so bored, but it's like we can't get together in person because um different reasons. So yeah, but I'm grateful that FaceTime exists because it's like being with someone in person. It's just you're not. So yeah, don't know why I needed to elaborate on that, but I did. Okay, and then one thing I'm happy about, um, probably the fact that I don't know. Okay, what am I happy about? What a good thing. Oh yeah. After this, I'm gonna go make lasagna. For like dinner today. So that's something I'm happy about because my lasagna is actually really good. It's not my own recipe, but like it's still really good. Um. So yeah, and also it gets my brother a lot of calories. So that's another good thing. Like I try to make him eat as much lasagna as he will possible, like as much as he will eat. And it's actually not a bad amount of calories. It's like 530 calories or something, which is actually pretty good. So yeah, I'm hoping he gets a lot of calories in, and also it's just like good food. And yeah, okay, so that's that. And then our book of the week is The Soulmate by what's the author's name? Sally Hepworth, not Hepworth. Okay, Hepworth. I hope I'm saying that right. So yeah, and it's about these two people, Gabe and Pippa, and the last name is Gerard. They're both married, and they have a cottage, but it's on a cliff. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful house, beautiful views, walking past the lawns, all of that. Um, but this seemingly perfect house has a lot of secrets. Well, something that's not exactly good. Um, those tall cliffs have become a popular spot for people to go and end their lives. And over the past several months, Gabe has come to their rescue, literally talking them to not that talking to them that they have so much more to live for and all that. Until one day he doesn't, and when Pippa discovers that Gabe, he knew the victim, there's lots of questions like, did the victim jump? Was she pushed? And would Gabe lie to her? Um, so yeah, it's just about like this marriage. It's cracking over dark secrets because sometimes the most convincing lies are the ones that we tell to ourselves. So that was taken from the cover summary, or I think I actually learned the word for this, like synopsis or something. I don't even know. But yeah, that's that. It's a really good book. I read this in like a day, so it's a really good book. Definitely recommend you read it. So yeah, that's that. I feel like I've said that 3 times in the past minute, but that's not the point. Okay, so this is kind of a long episode, so let's get right into it. First things first, what is a dopamine menu? I don't really know who created this term or concept, but the dryer just went off, laundry day, so if you hear that, my apologies. But anyway, the dopamine menu thing sounds kind of fun. Okay, so first things first, dopamine is a neurotransmitter that affects many parts of your body, like memory, motivation, and movement. And it's also called the feel-good chemical because it's associated with pleasure and reward. A dopamine menu is a list of things you can do to feel happy and good about yourself and a little more productive. And as far as I know, it's broken down into 5 or so different categories, and I'm gonna go into that in more detail as we go because I don't want you to have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about because that's not the point of these episodes. These categories are appetizers, entrees, or main courses, sides, desserts, and specials. You make a list of things that you can do to feel a bit better about life, and whenever you need it, you can just choose something off this menu. Main point of this episode. I feel like the main point of this episode is not this episode, but this like dopamine menu thing is to prevent doom scrolling and the like because it is that is the most common way to get dopamine hits these days. But after a while, like if for example, if someone just got social media, they would get the dopamine hits for a bit, but after a while, their brain would just get used to it, and going on social media would just become addicting, but you don't get dopamine off of it. So yeah, it's like to prevent that. It's like positive hits of like dopamine coming from good sources. Like, okay, you know how you get calories from good sources as opposed to calories from bad sources? It's kind of just like dopamine from good sources is the point of this dopamine menu, as opposed to getting dopamine from bad sources such as social media and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but it can also be a good way to do things that you don't always think of doing in your spare time, and it just makes life a little better as you go. Our first category are the appetizers or starters, whatever you want to call them, snacks. That's I think synonymous for it. I don't really know. That's not the point. But these are just quick activities you can do in 10 minutes or less, simple pick-me-ups that you can use throughout your day. They don't take a ton of time and they can give you a positive hit of dopamine whenever you need it. Creating a to-do list is one of the first things that I can think of. There's something satisfying about writing a to-do list and just like checking things off as you go throughout your day. And it just feels really good. And I feel like I was really productive that day if all those tasks are like ticked off. It's amazing. I write lists all the time on Google Keep, on sticky notes, paper, literally anywhere. Lists help me with my crappy memory. And ever since I started using Google Keep for my lists, I always remember things I have to do each day. So far this school year, I haven't had a single test or assignment I didn't do or something I forgot to study for this year because I simply forgot thanks to my lists. I'm a huge list person because crap memory, it helps a lot. The second one is dancing around to some music. Sometimes when I feel sad, I love playing a few songs on my Google Home and dancing around my room looking like a freaking crazy person. But I love dancing, and even though I would never take classes or something like that because I cannot dance to save my life and I hate dancing in front of people, it's still something that's fun for me. Music and dance is double the fun, and it's a good way to get even a few minutes of exercise into your day. And also, exercise is actually one of the best healthy ways to get a dopamine hit, and it's one of my favorite ways to do so. So keep that in mind. Search up some inspirational quotes or Google a list of them or something like that. Just looking at even one quote each day can boost you and make you feel good. this is such a quick one, and it's also another favorite of mine. That like burst of feeling good and motivation you get after reading a quote is the best, and that's why I end all my episodes with a quote relevant to that episode. And it's also because I can't find another way to end them, but that's not the point. So you can just like go on Pinterest and find motivational quotes and like short videos to give you a boost. That being said, just a few minutes, no doom scrolling, because that's what this whole dopamine menu thing is supposed to prevent. Honestly, the best use of screen time ever. Quick little 5-minute journal prompts. I used to try and get into journaling, but I gave up that because like once I realized that even though it has a lot of benefits and might help me, it's not that important to me. I have never found true motivation or joy from journaling, and that's why I failed to do it for so long. But these quick journal prompts might get you to through that midday burst of sadness or laziness or unmotivatedness. If that isn't a word, it is now. And one thing you could do is write down one thing you're grateful for, one thing you're happy about, and how you're feeling right now. And that's why I always include the first two at the start of every episode, so that like if you can't write it down, at least you can think about it. At least I can make you think about it. Just like even thinking about those little things. Like I said, I was grateful for FaceTime. Like even just those little things. I remember one time I said I was grateful for sticky notes, which is the dumbest thing ever. But just those little things, like honestly, the little things are sometimes the biggest ones. So yeah, or maybe something like what's one good thing that happened that day, or a super quick reflection on a happy memory, a time where you felt like you really accomplished something like that. Quick little things like those. You can also just get like a 5-minute journal and write in that in times like this, easy peasy. The next one is doing a super quick tidy of a space. I'm not talking about playing music for an hour and doing a weekly clean of your whole bedroom or your kitchen, just something super quick. A good one for me is my desk. Just taking the stuff that doesn't belong on the desk and put it away, like put it somewhere to actually put away later, and maybe put the rest of the stuff that actually belongs on the desk in a more organized and seemingly neater way. A clean space equals a clean mind, and you'll probably be able to focus a lot better when you go back to doing your work if you're working in a tidy space. Next one is doodle a bit. Doodling is such a fun thing, and I do this all the time when I can't focus in any of my classes, because if I'm trying to listen while doodling, then I can focus, but like 2% better. It doesn't really help, but yeah. Some of the classes are just blatant boring. So yeah, but doing a quick doodle or drawing for a little bit, not necessarily a very good drawing because, well, it's 10 minutes, but just a quick drawing, it can help take your mind off stress, because there's just something about doodling that does that. Just like take your mind off literally anything else around you. Sometimes it's just what you need to get yourself back to dealing with life. Get outside for a minute or 10. You can literally just open the windows if you want. There's just something about natural light that's so much better than light bulbs and stuff. Probably because it's much easier on the eyes and it's a lot less bright. That's another reason I kind of hate winter, because I can't really get that much natural light. Honestly, the only good thing about winter is like my birthday and like the holidays, because there's lots of days off of school, and it's just like fun, I guess. I don't know. There's just like a vibe about the holidays that makes it seem like fun, even though I don't necessarily like celebrate any of those. But in the rest of the year, I almost never use my actual light because the windows are just enough. But going outside for even just a few minutes can make you feel so much better, and being outside is actually scientifically proven to make you happier and boost your focus and all that other stuff. Okay, so our next category is the sides, which is stuff that you can do while doing something else, or things that just make boring and hard tasks a little better. Stuff like listening to music while cleaning, or listening to a podcast while working out, or lighting a candle while you're reading, things like that. This isn't multitasking, because to me, multitasking is when you're trying to do multiple things at a time, and like each thing actually requires a good amount of brain power and attention, like trying to finish a paper and I don't know, like let's say you're trying to write an essay for English and you're also trying to work on math problems. while juggling some laundry or dishes. I don't really know. That is the most random combination. I don't think that would actually be physically possible, but you know what? Not the point. Um, you keep switching back and forth between the multiple tasks. But having a side thing is like music and cleaning. You don't really need all your brain power to listen to music while cleaning, so that's that. First one is my favorite one, but listening to a podcast while you're cleaning. Podcasts are amazing because you can learn so much from ones like mine. There's also like ones that are just for entertainment or like true crime stuff like that. You can even learn a whole new language from podcasts. Like Duolingo has like the Duolingo Spanish podcast and French podcast, and there's two other ones for like if you're learning French or Spanish from like a different language as your native language instead of English. I don't really know if that's a good explanation, but that's the best thing I can think of. So yeah, but put on a podcast and do that while cleaning something. Cleaning kind of sucks most of the time, but if you just have to make all the boring stuff in your life more fun in whatever way works for you. You can also just do the same thing while working out. Second, lighting a candle. Not something I would actually do because my mom doesn't trust me with a lighter and I don't really like candles. And honestly, I don't even know how to work a lighter. It's the simplest thing ever, and yet I don't know how to use it. But if you have to read a really boring book for a class or something, then you can light some candles and put on some cute pajamas, make a pile of pillows, and make that reading a super boring book into something a bit more fun and turn it into a whole experience. It makes the whole thing a bit better. Not three. Play an audiobook in the background while folding laundry or doing stuff. Audiobooks are a great way to learn stuff if you can't find the time to read physical books. Also, you might just absorb stuff better by hearing it as opposed to reading it. Listening to an audiobook actually requires brain power to do though, so pair it with the task that you have to do, but don't have to think about much when you're doing it, like laundry or dishes or dusting. 4. Put on a face mask while doing stuff. Face masks are amazing, especially DIY ones, and I do realize that I'm losing my voice, and well, now I'm actually losing my voice because I said that about 2 times in this episode, but now I'm actually losing it, and I don't know why that's happening, but we're gonna get, I'm just gonna keep going anyway. So store-bought ones never actually do anything for my skin, but the DIY ones that I use are amazing. My all-time holy grail favorite is 2 tablespoons of yogurt and 2 teaspoons of honey. The absolute best. Like I literally had the worst breakout the 3 days before my school dance last year, and I did this every day for those 3 days, and also on the day of the dance, and it went away completely, or as completely as it can be, but it was not that bad at all. Um, anyway, face masks are nice and they can really help your skin. So those were all the sides, not really a whole lot of things, but still some. Next up are the entrees or main course. You want to focus on these things as much as you can. These are things that are important to you and that you love and care about. These are also things that can take up more time, like an hour to 3 hours, maybe a couple more than that. On my list, doing a weekly reset. I have a whole episode on reset routines and a weekly reset, so you can listen to that too. But I love my reset routine. I've been doing it for a really long time, and it really helps to like freshen up your mind for the week, and it makes the tasks that you do on this day. Like for example, I do laundry and I clean my room, and what are some other things I do? I plan out my outfits for the week. I put any important events into my Google Calendar for the week, and like it just makes the rest of the week go by a lot easier and smoother. I do this every Sunday to get ready for the rest of the week. It makes you feel like you have your life together. My reset takes mostly about like 1 to 2 hours to do fully, but this is a great way to get stuff done and get a dopamine hit because like you just feel so accomplished afterwards. Like it's a really good feeling. Number 2, go on a walk. I go on walks every Monday and Thursday because those are my rest days from running, and it's a good way to still get some exercise in that doesn't require like having to shower afterwards because I always shower in the morning on these days. I love going on long walks, but I walk really fast even when I'm not trying to. So I can usually do about like 3 miles maybe in half an hour. But long walks are the best, especially if it's a little bit cold outside. Then it feels nice. It's also like fall right now, at least where I live. So fall is like the perfect time to go on a walk because the weather is the best. Enjoy whatever outside time you can get until it's below freezing temperatures and like all sludgy outside. 3, do something creative, like drawing or painting for a while. Creative stuff is always fun and it's a good way to spend your free time, especially if you're really bored or gave up on doing your work. Painting or drawing and like are hobbies that you can do that are actually really fun, cheap, and easy. You might not be very good, but that's not the point. You'll get better over time. Also, if you're doing this because you gave up on your work, you might be able to focus a bit better once you go back to it. Number 4, go and cook or bake something. Cooking and baking are also technically creative activities, and it's a useful life skill. I love cooking and baking because it's fun and you get hopefully edible food afterwards. It might not always be the healthiest option, especially if you're baking something, but honestly, it's better than store-bought stuff. Like, if you baked cookies at home, then they would obviously be a lot healthier than store-bought cookies, but they're not necessarily healthy, like the healthiest thing either. Like, obviously, eating an apple would be better than that, but it's still fun and it's still useful. There are tons of recipes for simple but delicious things on Pinterest, which is the best thing ever for recipes. Just do whatever you want. Number 5, do an actual workout. Long walks are nice, but doing an actual workout is something you might always not always have the time for or energy for or the means of doing. Or you can take like a workout class if that's more your type. But now you do have that time, so definitely go do it. The most common reason people don't work out is because they think it's too expensive or too inconvenient. Addressing the first problem, you don't need gym memberships or specific workout clothes or even any equipment if you don't want to. Just go on YouTube and find workouts there. Dance cardio is amazing. There are like body weight workouts you can do to build muscle. What else? There's like different workouts that you can do if like I don't know something if like you have a certain goal. There's even like workout programs on YouTube like stuff. I don't even know. I know I've seen some workout programs. I just can't think of any of them right now. But like yeah, just go on YouTube and find some workouts there. There are millions of free workout videos on YouTube that are the best. I love doing workouts from MadFit because they are good for all skill levels. You can find something for every skill level and they're also really fun. So that's something you can try. Just like find your own thing. And then the second problem that it's too inconvenient, well, honestly just working out at home kind of addresses that. Like most people are just like, well, if I go to the gym, then I have to get a gym membership and I have to buy clothes and gym equipment and all that chaos, and I just don't want to do that. So just like get up, like literally just get up, and you go on YouTube all the time. You might go on YouTube all the time anyway. Just search up a workout video and do it. It's honestly not super duper hard, but it's like a good starting point too. And honestly, I think at home workouts are a lot better than the ones that you could do at a gym. Like yeah, I do only at home workouts and have seen crazy results in almost no time flat. So definitely something that you can try. Over time though, I have added some things like I bought I bought a pair of 3-pound dumbbells recently. Well, not recently, like a couple months ago to do like strength training, and honestly one of the best decisions I've ever made. It's like $10 and that's probably and you probably pay like a lot more than that per month for a gym membership that you literally never use anyway. So that addresses the problem of convenience. Just do it at home because it's easier and it's better. A couple things you can try. 6, give yourself an at-home spa day. You can do face masks, you can do your nails, the everything shower, all these little things. At-home spa days are actually so much fun and they're so relaxing, and this is a great solo date idea. It takes up a good few hours and it is the best use of time. And unlike going out and doing all these things, doing a spa day at home costs you almost nothing. Yet another uh, yet another win. Number 7, have a picnic. Another good solo date idea that's also pretty fun. You can get all dressed up in like the white flowy dresses and do your hair all nice, maybe put on some makeup. You can go cook some food and go buy a couple things if you need or want to, and you can make it the best experience you possibly can. Like use charcuterie boards, do all that fun stuff. I know I just said that wrong, but that's not the point. Another fun idea is to do the same thing but with some friends. You can also get a frisbee and play frisbee, or maybe like toss a football, kick a soccer ball around, do something like that. But this is a great way. But if you want to do this by yourself, you can also get a book to read or something like that. Picnics are always fun and a great way to either find time for yourself or have some fun with friends. 8. Read a book, but make it fancy. Set up a space for reading and throw a bunch of pillows or blankets down. And if you have a beanbag or use that instead. Light some candles, get a glass of water, and just read for a few hours. I literally do this one all the time because I love reading, and it's also the only thing left to do with my free time. But romanticize it and make the simple act of or thing of reading a whole experience. 9. Take a class. There are classes for literally everything. So you can take classes for cooking, photography, life skill stuff. Those probably exist somewhere. But there are tons of classes that are actually pretty fun. And these classes usually don't cost a lot. And they aren't super, super long. Maybe a few hours at the most. But it's still fun and a good way to treat yourself in a useful way. Another option is to go on michaels.com and sign up for those classes, online classes for free. You might need to buy some stuff. Pro tip, never buy the stuff that they tell you because it's always super expensive. You can buy paint and canvases and stuff like that at the dollar store or baking stuff from Hobby Lobby or things even off Amazon or Walmart. These places, if you find these things by yourself at a different place, they are half the price, maybe even less, and they work the same, if not better. And also you don't need to buy new paint colors every time. Just try and mix paint colors. They have Q&As and stuff, so you can just ask how do you make this color. I do that all the time, and just you can mix it and make that color. Next up on our dopamine menu are the desserts, and these are things that are good in moderation, but if you do them too often, they can make you feel yucky. They give you a hit of dopamine, but it just doesn't last very long. And if you do these types of things too often, then the dopamine hit won't really be useful anymore. And it's just gonna do the opposite and just make you feel yucky and bleh instead. So take note of that because these activities might seem questionable if you're trying to decrease dopamine from negative sources. First up is buy yourself a sweet treat. Go to Starbucks, a boba place, ice cream, literally whatever. Even better if you walk there because I live literally not even 10 minutes, not a 10-minute walk away from a boba place, and I also ice cream. So yay me. But it's an extreme rarity because I usually don't eat sugar for a week afterwards. Long story short, if I eat a ton of sugar on any given day, I go on what I call a sugar fast, which I basically go cold turkey on sugar. But anywho, go out and get yourself a sweet treat because why not? Always in moderation though. Next is shopping. Okay, so with this one, I mean shopping that isn't exactly mandatory. If you desperately need a new pair of boots for winter, then obviously you go buy a new pair of boots because you don't need your feet to freeze. And sneakers in the snow is not exactly a very good experience. I've done that. It does not work. But you don't really need to buy new makeup or expensive jewelry or fancy handbags, stuff like that. That's the type of shopping I want you to avoid and put as a dessert instead. I love shopping, but this one's a dessert for reasons. You can go on a shopping spree once in a while, but not all the time because then you're gonna be kind of broke. Especially online shopping because you spend so much more online shopping and so much more time on those sites. I just got a notification on my Google Calendar. I don't know if that came in the episode, but sorry about that. These sites are designed to pull you in and make you spend hundreds of dollars. You only want to buy one thing and you buy 10 things instead. So moderation is really the key. Now, something I don't know what number this is, but order some fast food. Fast food is not exactly the best for you, but in this time, it's kind of unavoidable. It's not healthy. I literally just found out that I probably eat 900 to 1,000 calories whenever I eat fast food somehow. Even though it doesn't cause a problem for me, I still don't think it's actually healthy to eat that many calories in one sitting because that's over half of some people's daily calorie intake in one meal. So yeah, but having fast food is something that you can still do from time to time because who doesn't love fast food? Try to limit it as much as you can though. Binge watching TV. Definitely a dessert for obvious reasons. I realize that more of the things are not just the dessert section, but the whole thing are more on screens than I would like. I would like more of these to not be on screens. But yeah, but you can find your own no screens version of the same stuff. But binge watching TV can be fun sometimes, especially if it's a really good show. I think the most I've ever done with me is like when me and my mom watched 5 episodes straight of some show. I don't even remember which one though. It was almost 2 hours. And I had a headache afterwards, so all the more reason to do this as little as you possibly can. But you can still do it, just moderation, please. It will save you. Scroll on Pinterest. I honestly love Pinterest because it's the only social media that I think actually has more benefits than negatives. Pinterest is basically social media without the social aspect. It's different from literally every other social media app to ever exist. There's so much positive and inspirational content on Pinterest, and you can very easily filter what you see on your feed. Also, I always use Pinterest for outfit ideas and recipes. Like, I found so many of all my all-time favorite recipes on Pinterest, and also pretty much all the books I ever recommend on this podcast. It's literally amazing. So maybe just about like a 10-minute scroll on Pinterest to spruce things up a bit, but like I said, very little. So those were all the dessert activities on the dopamine menu, and now we have the final category, which is the specials. And then we're going to talk about how you can build your own dopamine menu. So the specials are the ones that usually give you the biggest dopamine boost, but you can do them like almost never because of how much time they take or cost or just life circumstances. Anyways, first one is going on a vacation. This one is a special for obvious reasons. Vacations, even super short ones, are like really expensive these days. But you can go to the beach, you can go see the Northern Lights, you can go see the Eiffel Tower. There's so many places to see in the world. Another simpler alternative is to take a day trip to a place a few hours away from you, maybe 4 hours at most. Leave early in the morning, spend all day there, come back late. Third option is a staycation, and it's basically a series of day trips. You basically use your home as a hotel. I'm pretty sure that's the point. And it's also super fun, and it's a ton cheaper than an actual vacation. It's still super fun though, and you get a ton of dopamine from it, and it's like the best. Go to a concert or something like that. Concert tickets and stuff are expensive, which is why this one's a dessert, and also sometimes it's pretty hard to get tickets to concerts. But these events are pretty fun, so if you do get the tickets, then definitely go. Have some fun. Playing video games. Not always a good idea, but because as far as I know, the goal of these video games is to suck you in and make it go from 10 minutes to about 7 hours of playing a stupid video game. I don't play any video games, and I'm glad that I don't because they kind of suck you and drain you in the same way social media does. But if you want to, playing video games from time to time is okay. Just make sure you don't do it for super long, maybe less than an hour to an hour and a half ish. It's okay to have things like these in moderation, and I just realized that this one is technically a dessert, but oh well. Expensive meals. Maybe you want to go to an expensive brunch with some friends or have an expensive dinner at a fancy restaurant, whatever it is. If you did this all the time, then you'd obviously go broke and that would make life kind of difficult. But go out and have an expensive meal and have that meal by yourself, either by yourself or with some friends, because sometimes that's kind of fun and you're not going to feel guilty about it because you're not doing it all the time. It's not exactly like you're doing something you shouldn't be doing because you're not doing it all the time. It's not going to be like a huge deal if you only do it once or twice a month or even less or something like that. Pretty sure twice a month is still too much, like once a month or less. Going out and getting your nails done all fancy, this can be pretty expensive. I remember this one time me and my mom went to get our nails done at like a spa that's walking distance from our apartment. It was like 30 seconds away. Not even kidding. It said it would be about $15 each. It cost almost $70 total. This Like, that's a pretty crazy difference. And that's before all the super crazy Asian stuff happened. I would kill to see like how much the prices are now. I don't even remember the name of the place, but it's probably like twice or thrice that much. So a lot of money. But yeah, definitely a dessert because of the cost. But it's fun to get your nails done all nice from time to time, and if that's the only time you bother with your nails, then probably pretty necessary. Go and see a movie in a theater. Most of the time, we just watch movies on streaming services or wait for them to come out on these platforms, but sometimes going out and seeing a movie in the theater can be nice. Pretty expensive these days, though, but it might be worth it. And also, you can sign up for like Rewards Club and stuff to save some money because money's money. Another fun but also maybe more expensive option is to go see a play or a comedy show. Equally fun and maybe more expensive, but still you get dopamine and that's the point. So that was my dopamine menu plus some other fun ideas that aren't technically on mine. Hopefully that's enough to get you started and like get you thinking. So now we're going to talk about how you can make your own dopamine menu. First step, you obviously have this huge list of things you can do to boost your dopamine in healthy ways. Just to recap, you have appetizers, the super quick activities that you can seamlessly integrate into your day, and these take less than 10 minutes. Next are the sides, which are things you can combine with a slightly more boring task to make it a little bit more fun. Third are the entrees or main course things, which are things that take up an hour to a few hours and are a priority for you, such as time for your hobbies. Probably the ones you're going to look at the most on this dopamine menu. Fourth are the desserts, which are things that aren't exactly very good for you, so you want to make sure you do them very rarely and for short amounts of time. Short amounts of time. I cannot speak if applicable. Do it too often or too much, and you're gonna have the opposite effect. Finally, are the specials, the things that give you the biggest boost of dopamine, but because of time or money, happen almost never. A good place to start for any kind of project is to get inspiration. You can go online, go on Pinterest, listen to a majority of this episode again to find some ideas within you to like for your own dopamine menu. There are also some questions you can ask yourself to help find a starting place for your dopamine menu. First off is what are things that make me feel good and a bit happier, a bit brighter. For me, that's things like spending time with my friends, going on walks, listening to music, the like. Just find whatever makes you happy that isn't doom scrolling or being sick from too much sugar, because let's be honest, no one likes those things. Maybe you love waking up early or making home cooked meals. Maybe you love making flower bouquets or having some lemon water. Find everything. Nothing is too big or too small. Next question is, where do all those things fall in the different categories? For example, making lemon water would be an appetizer, spending time with friends would be an entree or main course, going on a walk is also an entree, having some boba or like something with too much sugar in it, that's a dessert, and going on a vacation or seeing your favorite band perform, those are specials. Based on the criteria for each category, figure out where each thing on your list falls. This will help you to actually make sense of your list and you can find what you need in a pinch. Third question is, what are some physical activities that give you energy and motivation and make you feel good? Physical activities are a big part of dopamine, like getting dopamine hits. They are one of the best ways to get dopamine. So it's a big part of this dopamine menu. Some people, they only love doing low impact workouts and walking. Some people love intense workouts like HIIT, HIIT workouts, or interval running. Some people may like slow but intense workouts like strength training that's like slow and controlled. I love running and all kinds of runs. My favorite are just like long runs because like long runs are easy runs. Those are always really fun. But speed runs aren't super bad either. Some like yeah, I also love my strength training workouts that I do twice a week. I love dance cardio. I also love team sports like basketball, volleyball, and swimming, even though I can't really swim. I'm gonna start getting lessons though. Like I'm gonna start taking swimming lessons again sometime soon. And obviously soccer because I play soccer. HIIT workouts aren't my absolute favorite, but I still do it sometimes to work on my endurance for running. Like I did HIIT workouts for a few days before I started actually running because it was just raining. I was just like, okay, it's raining outside. This is the perfect time that I should get back into running. Not exactly the best, but yeah. Um, but think about what kinds of physical activity you enjoy. Take a moment to think about it because exercise is one of the best and scientifically proven ways to give you a dopamine boost, and it's probably the healthiest way to get a dopamine hit. And also, not technically related to the question, but what are your hobbies that you actually enjoy? Well, now that's a new question, but anyway, what are hobbies that you actually enjoy? Well, you kind of have to enjoy it if it's your hobby, and if you don't, then why is it your hobby? But maybe you love cooking or baking or photography or drawing or painting or collecting a certain thing or really any hobby you have. That's a lot of examples. Anyway, figure out a way to put it on the dopamine menu. 3 questions that will really help you shape your dopamine menu and make it work for you. And anyway, so that's a pretty good place to start. But essentially, I cannot speak. You just need to find things that you actually enjoy doing and that give you a healthy boost of dopamine. I really like this concept because although it's supposed to be a way to prevent doom scrolling, it does have a lot more use than that. These activities are ones that can make your life feel a little fuller and make you appreciate your life just a bit more day by day. It's also a great way to prioritize hobbies and things that bring you genuine joy, but you never get the chance to because life gets in the way. And maybe this is how you can find time to do those things. So, to end our episode today, I have a quote for you guys from an unknown author. The quote goes, "Be addicted to real dopamine. Listen to music, get a good sleep, move your body, eat nourishing food, live in the moment, focus on your passion, experience new things, wanting to grow and evolve, spending time in sunshine." Oh, it says spend time in sunshine. Whoopsies. Quiet your mind and meditate. Love the people around you, making a difference where you can. Bye, guys. Rate, review, follow, and share this podcast. Go follow my Instagram, drink some water, and I love you all.